Hello. A little few minutes early. Welcome in. Come here. It's my bag. Welcome in. Hey, Sunshine, how are ya? Hope you guys are good tonight. We are going to talk about grief, and we're going to talk about the new moon. So we're going to talk about grief first. So I know a lot of you guys are going through a lot with grief, and so we're going to discuss that a little bit as soon as everybody gets in here. Hey, girly, how are you? Like, legit, how are you? You doing okay? Making it? You're here? Hey, Jen. Doing good. Well, welcome in. Universe has a way of throwing people together. So welcome in. Tonight we're going to talk about grief. So if you have, hey, Bat, if you've lost someone, tonight may be a really great class for you. I'm not going to say that it won't make you sad, right? It won't make you sad, but I'm going to give you some tools to move through grief, right? And some of us, it's all too close and it's all too happening, but it's one tried and true, right? People are always leaving us far too soon. Far too soon. And so tonight we're going to talk a little bit. As you guys know, I lost my brother several years ago, my little brother, or one of my little brothers, due to drugs. And I was with him, and it was the hardest time ever. And I use this month, because his birthday is at the end of the month, to kind of celebrate him and the good and the things that has transpired since I've lost him that are positive things, because there are positive things that come from these things. There can be positive things, right? When you're in it, it feels like it's never going to go away, and it's just completely changing who you are. And it is struggling. Yeah, no, I know. And you're in my thoughts for sure. I know it's hard. So see, you were put in the right place. You were put in the right place. So I was going to pull some pictures of my brother and I forgot, but, so tonight we're going to talk about some things that people struggle with. Some things that people struggle with when you have someone who passes over. It doesn't matter the circumstances. It really doesn't, because in the end, they're just not here anymore. Right. And we look at ourselves as, oh, where's my paper? I'll have to find my other paper. I read something today and it struck me as being like, that's really interesting, because when you use the words mom, my dad, my sibling, my grandma, my grandpa, my friend, that insinuates there's another person there, right? And so that means that you're there. There's more than one person. So that's kind of like this is who you are. And so when they're not there anymore, it's not who you are anymore, right? And so you struggle with so many parts of it. And I still go through, right? And have the tears and the everything, right? It can hit you out of nowhere, but that's why it's important for me to go through this. So we're going to go through some stages of grief, just because I want you guys to know you're not crazy for feeling how you feel. If you're not over in Blend Your Spirit, some of these things we're going to talk about today, Blend Your Spirit over on Facebook, I posted several different worksheets. So some of the things we're talking about tonight, if you want to join Blend Your Spirit, these worksheets are over there, and there's a link in my bio to where you can click on it and it'll take you right to Blend Your Spirit. We are a non-denominational group. I do teach on crystals, spell work, intention work, whatever you want to call it. For me, this universe is so big and we try to make it so small. So there's a lot of different information in there. Thank you, Bill. And so, come join. There's a huge group there, and all of us, we've all gone through grief, right? We all still go through it, and it's just something that doesn't go away. And we are stronger when we find other people who understand how we feel and how we can connect and help, right? So tonight, I want to talk to you about stages of grief real quick, okay? You're cray. Yeah, no, it's an amazing group. I'm trying to just grow a community of people that want to help others become better people. And so if that's your thing, then go to the link in my bio and find Blend Your Spirit. If not, that's okay. I'm over here on Mondays and Wednesdays, always teaching about different things too. So just follow me and you'll be able to jump on this bandwagon. So, So I just want to talk to you about the stages of grief real quick. And then I'm going to go through some questions. And I apologize if they are triggering questions, right? Because grief it's just a triggering thing when we open this up. So what I would ask you to do is make yourself a little bit vulnerable. Okay. You don't have to open up everything, but make yourself a little vulnerable so you can feel some of the emotions, because tonight is the new moon, and a new moon is the perfect time to let go of things that are heavy and that are harboring you, right? Things that are keeping you in a box. And sometimes grief and pain is the only thing we feel like that's still there to keep us connected with that person. So we're hesitant to let go of the sadness and live our life. Okay. When we lose someone, initially, it feels shocking, right? And that's going to be some of the things that we go through. But then we also go through some of things like, have any of you guys, and you can answer in the group. So you go through the initial shock of something happening, but have you guys ever thought, I forgot what their voice sounds like? I think that I'm like, I forget. I could mock him, right? Because he always talked stupid, right? He always talked like a dumb jock, because that's what he was, as a jock. And so you forget what their voice sounds like. Someone that was with you all the time, and all of a sudden you forget what their voice sounds like. Do you forget what they look like without looking at a picture? Like, you know what they look like, but you forget, right? And it's not that you forget them, right? It's not that you forget them, but they're not there anymore. And so you're forced to find a new way to live and walk forward. And so you forget about like their laugh, right? Their laugh and how funny their laugh was. You forget about those things. And then you feel guilty. Oh, so sorry, sunshine. Yeah. And then you feel guilty. And then you feel even more guilty, right? And then you're like, well, why me? Why you? Why not just take me, right? Because it'd be so much easier. I mean, with my brother, I'm like, seriously, you're going to leave me here in this shithole, right? For real? Like, now you're off living the life, flying around, doing whatever you're doing. And you leave me here? That's not nice, right? It's not nice. You don't have to deal with it when you pass over. Like, I get so angry with him. Like, why? Why? So you go through all these stages, but in the end, like, you start to forget things until the holidays come around, right? When the holidays come around, there is a very visible space left at your table. And it reminds you, right? It reminds you that they're not there. It reminds you of this missing piece. So families, families kind of distance from each other because it's hard. Families argue, right? They push further away from each other because when you're close, it just brings up the memories, the ones that we forgot, right? So I want to go through some stages and I'm going to ask you some questions. And like I said, it may make you sad being in here tonight, but I want to show you that there are some ways to keep them alive. Okay, there are ways that you can do that to keep them alive in the physical form, because energy is energy. Energy doesn't die, it just changes forms, right? That's science. It's just what it is. So, stages of grief. Everyone experiences the loss and goes through grieving processes with some common elements. Grief is not predictable, the progression of stages. However, understanding 7 stages of grief can help you with your process. There is no order to them, and you can bounce all over. Okay, you can bounce all over. In fact, you can be completely accepted of it and then all of a sudden get really angry, right? My brother has been gone for 9 years, 10 years maybe. I don't even actually know how many years, because I've moved past that, because I feel like he's still here. I just don't count anymore, right? Yeah, honor the memories. So the first one is shock and denial. Wait, what do you mean? Right? What do you mean? That leaves you feeling detached and numb from the situation, right? Which is normal. In this stage, you doubt the reality of your lost loved one. You know it happened, right? Because you've heard it or you see it. In my case, I watched it. It happened, but it doesn't feel real, right? It doesn't feel real. The next one is guilt. Individuals may unrealistically blame themselves for things they have no control over. Guilt causes you to punish yourself and keeps you focused on the past. Okay? Guilt is something that, especially veterans, I want to touch on this because their veterans are very often overlooked. Veterans have survivor's guilt a lot of the time. And that's not an emotion that they can necessarily speak on for others to understand. Okay. So veterans are the perfect example of survivor's guilt, right? There's families that go through significant things and they have survivor's guilt because they're still here. Okay. And that's important to consider. Do you feel guilty? All those different things. So guilt causes you to punish yourself. I should have. Thanks for the gifts, guys. I should have done this. I should have done more. I should have done more. I should have done this. I should have called them. I should have been nicer to them. I should have had conversations with them. I should have loved them more when they were here. I shoulda, woulda, all day long. It crushes your soul, right? Crushes your soul. However, it's a normal part of the grieving process. You are normal when you feel this way, okay? You're normal. Normal. Anger. Your pain may be redirected and expressed as anger, irritability, rage, lashing out, or even unwarranted blame on other people. The stage involves acknowledging that some things have changed and anger towards your new reality. Okay, I'm going to give you some examples of my stuff because I'm not going to call anybody else out to do it. I think one of my lashes out in anger was when if you're coming in here, just warning, we're talking about people passing away. At his funeral, when our family was there planning the funeral, and all of a sudden, everybody else suddenly cared. Not that they didn't care before, but they definitely didn't allow their emotions and actions to match when it came to caring. And all of a sudden, they all wanted to say a piece and have certain things a certain way. I was angry. Right? I was angry. They're all of a sudden caring. It's something that I'd been doing and dealing with for a very long time. Like, I was angry. Why do you get to say what happens? You weren't there through it, right? Angry. Normal part of the process, okay? If you're feeling this now, or you have felt this before, because then you get angry and then you can feel guilty for being angry, right? You don't get to pick what happens to him now that he's gone and pretend like you cared. Angry, right? Angry. Bargaining. Individuals try and hold on to hope in a situation of intense pain. You may feel you'd be willing to do anything to sacrifice. Just bring them back for just a minute. Just a minute. Mine was like, bring him back because I'm going to punch him square in the face. Right? That's what I'm going to do. You bargain. No, why not me? Not me. Like, no, he has young kids. Like, he has this. Like, no, that's not, it can't happen. It can't happen. Right? The next one is depression. We all go through this. If you don't, I don't know how you don't. Right? Throughout this stage, you're starting to face the reality that your loved one is not here, and you finally realize the magnitude of your loss. You're finally understanding the magnitude of the loss. You finally realize the magnitude of your loss. However, it's also common to experience feelings of emptiness, despair, and isolation. What is so funny when it comes to grieving someone that you've lost is you're like, nobody understands. Nobody understands. Listen, they may not understand exactly how you're feeling, but I promise you, you are not alone. You're not alone in those feelings in the process. If you were alone, there wouldn't be 7 stages of grief. Right? There wouldn't be things that we could talk about that everybody could understand. Okay? Growth. You might start reconstructing your life and searching for solutions to get through your grief. You might experiment with strategies to help you cope, so you begin feeling like you have more control over your life. Others forget that you're grieving. They do. And I'll talk about that here in a second. The last is acceptance. Acceptance doesn't mean that you feel good or right about it. It is accepting that there is a new reality that's not going to change. It's not going to change. It's not going to go back. Caught yourself trying to call you. Yeah. So, part of the thing with me that was so interesting is, my husband at the time, he had not ever experienced any kind of loss. And this was my brother that was 6 years younger than me. We were very close, even though he made some crazy decisions. And I was there, watching them work on him, trying to revive him. And it wasn't going to happen. My husband at the time had asked, when are you going to be done? When are you going to be done being upset? When are you going to be done grieving? Like, when are you going to go back to normal? That's a great question. Do we go back to normal? Guys, do we go back to normal when we have a significant loss? No. No. You don't go back to normal. It's like chopping off your finger. You then don't have a finger. It's not the same. Right? You don't. You find a new normal. Okay, you find a new normal. Does it mean that it's so easy to do? No, not at all. It's so hard. It's so hard. And so I would tell you that while I've been the oddball my whole life, losing my brother was the biggest loss I ever had, but it was probably the most impactful in a positive way in my life as well, because it made me see things differently and grow significantly and go on this journey, as we do when we experience loss, to find something that makes life, like something that makes that space in my soul easier to deal with, right? And so, and I've told you guys the story, like I have band friends now. I have so many different people. I have you guys, right? We are all one and the same when it comes to this. Right? We all experience stages of grief. We all find different ways to cope. There's good ways and there's really negative ways. And it does change how you go through life. It makes you look at things differently. And it can either make you very hardened or it can make you very enlightened. It can do both. Okay? It can do both. So that is some stages of grief. So I want to talk to you. I'm going to send you some, I'm going to give you some questions. You think you know me from a past life or what? Mr. Touch 21. All right, so if you're in here and you're interested in following me in all my weird ways, again, go up into my link in my bio. You can come over to Blend Your Spirit. These worksheets are right now in there in the files. Mr. Touch, you might. Maybe I was a queen in your lifetime. I don't know. I get that a lot. I think that I actually get that a lot about past lives. People say they know me. If you figure out where you know me from, let me know. I'm easy to get in touch with. Okay, so if you want these worksheets, they are there. I'm going to go through these. And like I said, this is not to make you sad. Yeah, the vampire. I'm a queen now. Thank you. This is not to make you sad. Okay, this is to make you understand, one, you're not alone. Okay, two, this is to give you tools to help you work through your grief. I have many more worksheets I'm going to upload in the group for you. You can use them or you can not, right? But I promise you, they will help you start to process. And even if someone's been gone for a very long time, I did some of these just to kind of see, to gauge the emotion and how it works. And it still did something for me, right? It still did something for me. And so, number one, this is a very hard one. If you're just coming in, we're talking about people passing away. So trigger warning, right? The first one that is in the group is called the goodbye letter. Okay, it's a goodbye letter. And it's very simple. You don't have to do a lot of thought into it because can you even imagine sitting there and writing that letter, which I do, I've done before. But this is just like this, right? Just very simple. Very, very simple. This is a goodbye letter and who it's to. I say goodbye because, and I would venture you can use this for people who haven't even passed away, but the people who are you're cutting completely out of your life, or they're just not involved in your life anymore and you're harboring that heaviness that you need to get rid of. If you're harboring that heaviness and you need to get rid of it, tonight is the perfect night. It is a new moon, right? This is where we start fresh. This is where we have a blank slate. So use this for more than just if someone passes, right? Because sometimes when you lose someone and they're still alive, have you had that happen? Sometimes it's just as painful. Sometimes it's harder because they're still there and they're not, right? So this one is a goodbye letter. I am saying goodbye because, okay? I am literally going to fill in what I would say, not in heartfelt emotion, because I don't want to start crying like a baby. I don't want to start crying. Not right now yet. Not yet. So I'm saying goodbye because you're no longer here on this planet and I need to move forward. Okay? And I need to move forward. I can't stay in the heavy energy anymore. I have to move forward. I feel conflicted would probably be how it is. This is what I would say if I was in this mindset, right? I feel conflicted because I want to keep you close. But I also know that the pain that I feel is one thing, and it's one of the last things that feels like there that connects me to you. So I feel conflicted because part of me feels guilty for wanting to let go of you, right? But the other part knows I have to. I will miss my brother. He always talked like this. He'd say, hey, can I have $1 for a burrito? Can I, blah, 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 blah. That's how he talked. He always talked like mumbled, right? So I will miss that. I will miss, like when we were little, some of you guys know this, I will miss just some of the silly things that we used to do that made absolutely no sense. I miss making fun of mom and mouthing off about kids and stupid things. I miss just conversation, right? I miss that. I will miss it so much. You taught me. Thank you, Armani. Thanks for the gifts. You taught me. What did my brother teach me? Well, When he was alive, he taught me definitely try very hard not to become an addict, because I watched him destroy everyone's life around him. Now, I have the utmost respect for people who pull themselves from that. He taught me compassion for addiction, right? He taught me compassion for addiction. Losing him due to addiction taught me compassion for addiction. It taught me compassion for people who are struggling. It also taught me to be grateful when times are good, because they can kind of disappear quickly, right? Hey guys, thanks for coming in. Taught me compassion. He also taught me that he was mom's favored child. He also taught me that sometimes you can make a lot of bad decisions and that you can still make it through life. You can do a lot. You can do a lot and still make it. Like, you can screw up so many times and people will still be there for you if you allow them to be. And if you still grow and are willing to move forward. He taught me that. He taught me that I was a good big sister. He also taught me I can't control everything. These are some things that he taught me. I will remember. So I will remember some of my favorite times with him is when I'm the oldest of 5, and me and my siblings would be grounded to our rooms because we'd be in trouble, and we would plot revenge to our mother through the vents, because the vents were in the floor, and we always thought she couldn't hear us. And so I'd be like, hey, Jason, you need to do this. And so we'd talk back and forth through the vents, and my mom would hear all of it, but we thought she couldn't. Right? I'll remember that. I'll remember that I have so many pictures, and I have so many different things about him. You're the oldest of 6. See? Universe put you here. Or put me in front of you. One or the other. I will remember that he was so stubborn. I'll remember that he blamed his blood sugar and having diabetes on coming in the kitchen on the holidays and taking all the food before anyone else got theirs. I'll remember that one time on the 4th of July before he passed, we had a tent up in the backyard, and he set off a firework in it and blew a hole in the tent. I'll remember how much he loved his boys, how much he loved his kids. I remember he loved his kids, yet he still passed away from addiction. His boys were his life, the only thing he thought he had to live for. I want you to know that. I want you to know that I'm so grateful for having you in my life. I want him to know, see, I'll tear up because it's sad, right? It's stupid. I want him to know that I'm a better person because he passed away. I'm a better person. That's really hard to say, right? It's hard to say. I'm a better person because I went through that. I'm a better person for knowing him. I'm a better person for going through the struggles of watching what that did, right? I want him to know that his kids are amazingly taken care of. And that even though he sees them from the other side, like they are a spitting image of him, it's disgusting. I can't see his kids and not see him. Like, you can't out-gene some people, right? You cannot out-gene some things. You can't out-gene. You can't out-gene some stupid things, right? You just can't. Like, you look at them and you're like, oh. And my oldest son has like my brother's profile. So whenever I see him, sometimes I catch a glimpse of my brother, right? You cannot out-gene some stuff. It doesn't matter. They haven't been around him for 10 years, right? There's one that's in high school now, and they were little when he passed away. They don't know him like that, but they act just like him, right? So I want you to know that. love you fiercely. I want you to know that I am a better person for knowing you and for going through with you what we went through. I want you to know that I am keeping your legacy alive by having compassion for those who struggle. Because we all struggle at something, right? I want him to know that I'm okay and I'm better for knowing him, right? So this is a goodbye letter. Use it. If you're not in a group, go get in the group and use it. Even if there's some things, maybe you don't follow like what crystals are. That's fine. Just don't look at that. But there are some great things in there, right? Bye, everyone. Goodbye letter. Okay. Here is 12 memory questions. I'm going to ask these. You guys think about it. And if you want to post things, you can. Okay. Think about who you're thinking about tonight. Who are you thinking about? 12 memory questions. This is to help you understand that it's always still there. And as you get, I won't say better, but as you move forward with your healing process, you will find that you can answer these questions and then be beautiful memories, right? Eventually, time really does start to heal things. It doesn't make it all better, but time does, right? Because your subconscious and your brain has this beautiful way of doing this, okay? So, what are 3 adjectives that describe your loved one? If you're thinking of someone tonight, post an adjective that describes your loved one. My brother, I would say dumbass. Right? Dumbass. Right? Dumbass. Be like funny and stubborn. Dumbass. Stubborn. Carefree. Carefree. Beautiful. Are these all things that we can all relate to when describing someone that we love? Reserved. Loyal, trustworthy, straight shooter, hilarious, right? Empowered. These are adjectives that describe the people that we love. Hilarious, loving, stubborn, honest, outspoken, right? We can all feel this, right? What is something funny about my loved one? Something funny. Something funny. My brother was very much into football, and he was the typical football player. He ate it. He drank it. He lived it. I remember him being about 10 years old, and he always called me Sissy, and he was asleep. And I heard him scream, "Go Redskins!" And he had his arm in the air and he was doing his football cheer. You know, he would even do it in his sleep. He would talk about football in his sleep. It was a clothes horse. What music did my loved one like? What music? I find this one so funny because my brother loved Metallica, because that's just what was in when he was little. He loved Metallica and he loved Pantera. And my youngest listens to records now of that, and it just reminds me of him whenever I hear it. Tool, love that. Oldies and country. Gospel. My grandmother I loved, I take a lot after my grandma. She had this laugh that was contagious, and she just loved everybody fiercely. She was a wild woman, but she did. And I know that they're still in, but I guess what I'm talking about like Master of Puppets in. My grandmother loved Bette Midler. She loved Barry Manilow. Like she loved Barry Manilow. Old school punk. His daughter's jams the same music. I love that. Yeah. I just love that my youngest has records. Like he just got some new Metallica records. He collects them and he listens to them, and I love that he likes the record player. What are some of my loved ones' achievements? Like, think about this. What are some, like, when you're grieving the loss, you don't think about all these things. So what are some of your loved ones' achievements? My brother went to school on a full college scholarship for football. His achievement is he got school paid for because he was so good at football, right? He had two amazing kids. Two amazing kids. He had two great kids. What are some of your loved ones' achievements? What do I love most about my loved one? What do I love most about my loved one? I loved that my brother died from addiction, but he would get mad at me if I drank a Corona. What is that? His belief in Jesus brought the rest of the family to salvation. Right? You were frozen. What are some things that brought my loved one joy? My family is a family of sarcasm. We deal with grief and pain with sarcasm. Trauma response, right? So funny. He used to do things like we have a swimming pool and he'd have the kids in the swimming pool and he'd have the hose in the swimming pool filling it. And he would tell the kids that it was a snake. And he would chase those kids around the pool and they thought it was a giant snake. And they loved it. That brought him joy. That brought him joy. Football brought him joy. My grandmother singing brought her joy. Her wigs brought her joy. She was a model. She did all kinds of stuff. She loved, right? She loved. What were their hobbies? If you've lost someone and they were older, you probably know more about their hobbies than if someone was young. Or if someone was very young and a child, then you know that they had different hobbies, right? What are things they loved? Obviously, my brother loved football. He loved cooking, lottery scratchers. My grandma loved to crochet. Like, I know how to crochet because she taught me how to do that. She loved to crochet. What is something fun that someone would say about your loved one? Something fun. My grandmother, that casino. Oh, casino, hands down. That is some definitely. My grandma, a funny story with her is that when my husband and I were like 18 and I had someone pass in the family, she had not met him before. So I think he was 18 and I was 16 or 17. And he came to the funeral in a Gap hooded sweatshirt. And when my grandmother saw, because she didn't know what Gap stood for, she was like, gay and proud. Ah! Like, ridiculous. Ridiculous. Just so funny. Like, that's what she thought that stood for. Right? And her laugh was just outrageous. And so she was like, gay and proud. Ah! Like, that was her, right? That was her personality. She was always like off the wall, so funny. Like, they would tell you that she was funny, like ridiculously funny. And she had the best smile and she had the best laugh. It was contagious. What is something that something that would make your loved one feel special? I think that my brother felt special when he came to my house because I was not judgmental on him. I just knew and told him, do not bring that mess to my house. And you know what? He respected that. He didn't. He didn't. Street tacos. How did my loved one support me? was a really long time ago. I guess my brother would have supported me in not doing the things I asked him not to do. He supported me in me knowing that he knew I loved taking photos, and he let me take photos all the time of him and his kids. He supports me in a huge way from the other side, right? How did your loved ones support you? Or how, if you're currently, because I know all y'all's situations, not all y'all, but if being your fake date to come out to your family, if you're currently struggling, think about how does your loved one support you if they're going to be passing soon? How do they support you, or how did they? Okay, so I hope that this is helping you. I'm going to do a couple more things here, and then I'm going to talk about the new moon. So this worksheet also is there. Okay, this one right here. So if you're not over in the group, go get in the group. Okay. So we're going to do this real quick, and then I'm going to talk about the new moon and all much more fun stuff than grief. Okay. But I want you guys to consider all those stages, right? So comparisons before and after. This worksheet is within the group. You need to ask yourself before and after questions. It's kind of hard to go through them all, so I'm just going to throw some out there. Then I'm going to move on to stuff about the moon, because that's way more spiritually uplifting. Okay. So comparisons, fill out the boxes, go get the worksheet if you want. How am I the same before? Like, think about before. How are you the same as before all this happened? And then how are you different? How is your family the same? How is your family different? My family is way different now because we're not all that close. It's a struggle, because when we get close, there's an empty space there. Right? It's there. There's nothing you can do about it. There's a missing piece. Things that made you happy before, things that make you happy now. In general, my mood was this before. In general, my mood is this now. How people treated me then and how people treat me now. Okay. Very simple worksheet, but it'll help you work through that. Again, the stages, right, of grief. When I threw them down a minute ago, where'd they go? I'm going to go through real quick, and then we'll go. So, shock and denial, right? Guilt, anger, bargaining, depression, growth, and acceptance. Again, survivor's guilt is huge. I talked about this. If you have people that are in the military, if you have people who have been through something traumatic, you should be ashamed of yourself if you're not helping them cope through that. And sometimes coping through that is just sitting there, right? It's just sitting there. Hey. Sometimes it's just sitting there not doing a damn thing. There is nothing that I can say to Midnight Owl that's going to make this feel better right now. Right? There's nothing I can say to anyone that's struggling with feeling guilty. There's nothing I can say if they're feeling angry or depressed. But you can be there. You can be there. So think about those things. Okay? Are you ready? Are you ready? I hope that helped you guys. I will continue to go through. Next Friday is my brother's birthday. I will be going out to my favorite tree at a favorite park. I do this every year, and I listen to music and I write him a letter. And so I'll take you guys there with me, and I won't show you everything I do, but I will go to my favorite tree at my favorite park that not very many people know about. And I sit there and I write. Thanks for the gifts. Oh, you're so welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. So let's talk about the new moon. You know, I'm a moon girl, right? Forever a moon girl. There are things in your life that you need to let go of. That could be guilt. That could be feeling heavy energy. That could be people. It could be things. It could be thoughts, right? It could be a lot. Hey, Angelica. Thanks for the gifts, Bo. You need to stop tonight for a moment, go outside in the darkness, right? Because Miss Luna is not very full, right? In fact, she's very small right now. This is the darkness. This is the time that you can plant seeds on what you want. What do you want out of your life? Who do you want? What do you want? What career do you want? What money do you want? What do you want? What are some of the things that you guys want in life? What do you want? I know some of you guys want me to be a vampire like the guy last night. I can't be a vampire. I can play one on TV. What are some things that you guys want? And how can we get there? Okay. Sometimes it's hard, right? And sometimes you can want something and you have to just put it on hold for a minute because you have no idea what's going to happen with the universe. And that is what new moon is about. New moon is about planting seeds of things that you actually want and you feel like your soul needs. And then you figure out things to do, inspired actions, right? If you're going to connect with someone and maybe you're going to collaborate, then maybe you collaborate with that person. You put things in motion, right? The darkness represents dirt for me, or the darkness to plant a seed, right? And then you're going to nurture that and it's going to grow. So tonight, that's what you want to do. You want to think about things that you need to let go of, the heavy energy, the doubt, the self-sabotage, all y'all self-sabotage, my self-sabotage, all the thoughts that you don't deserve, like goodness and things coming. We all have those things, right? But you have to understand you are very special in this world. There is only one person like you. Thank God for most of us, right? And so you want to consider what you want. You have to understand that abundance is there. The things you want are there. Everything you want is there. It's blocks that you have that block you from those things. So if you don't have something that you want, it's likely that you are in your own way. And that's what class was on Monday. Hey, Erin. So there are things that you may want. And we can talk about how to get those things, right? We create those blocks. Maybe we don't even, as we grow as a child, right? We're conditioned to do these things. And we have these. And it's our job now as adults to figure out what the hell they are. Why are we stepping in our own way, right? Why do you step in your own way? Why do you think you're not worth it? Why do you think you're not good enough? Why, right? We want to talk about those things. But what do you want from life, right? I'm not saying it's going to all drop in your lap tomorrow, but what do you want? How do you want to feel? If you guys could wake up tomorrow and feel a certain way, how would you want to feel? How would you want to feel tomorrow? You can wake up feeling depressed, like some are today, or you can wake up tomorrow feeling empowered and knowing that you are taking steps forward, inspired actions to change who you are so you can see the prosperity that's there, right? Joyful, yep, successful. Okay, so that is what I want to talk about. Do I have my bay leaves? I do. No pain. Do you guys want to do bay leaves? Bay leaves. I have my pen. Let's do some bay leaves. Like you're not alone in a big world that you can accomplish anything you set your mind to. And you can. Right? And that's where you have to separate your emotional side from what's real. Right? Your emotions you feel. And that's how you feel. Okay? And you're going through a lot right now. And so you can't really... you have to be very gentle on yourself as you go through this process. But once you start seeing, this is my emotional reaction, right? I'm freaking out. I know that I'm freaking out. This is a lot of change. I'm going through a lot. Be gentle on yourself, okay? And then the reality is, you're not alone. It feels so much like you are, right? And a lot of times when we're going through big things like this, we internalize it and we go hide in our cave, and that's okay for now. You just aren't allowed to stay there. Because we'll come get you. All right, hang on. I'm gonna do this. My big bag of bay leaves. All right. So tonight we are going to, either way, you tell me things that, let's do things that you want to manifest first. Okay. You guys know I do this literally to have a beautiful Post-it note to keep you on track. Okay, so if you have something you want to let go of, let's do let go first, and then afterwards we'll do what we're manifesting. Name some things you want to let go of. Self-doubt was said earlier. Self-doubt. The Mennonite store. Tammy, there's worksheets over in Blend Your Spirit. Over in the group, it is under files. Regret. Okay, I have self-doubt, regret. If you can't find them, shoot me a message. What other things do you want to let go of? Pain. Fear and self-sabotage. Same, bro, same. Self-sabotage. Guilt and shame. Old wounds. Trauma and anger. Second guessing myself. Second guessing yourself. Is there anyone else that has anything you want me to put in this community burn thingy that I do? Worthlessness. Got it. I got it. I got you. All right. So now let's talk. I'm going to go two separate. Talk about things that we're wanting to manifest. What are some things that we're wanting to plant seeds for to grow over the next month? What are some things that we are going to do, inspired actions to help us grow and to help us move forward? What are some of those things? If you don't want to say it out loud, say unspoken. It's going to be heard all the same. Practice. New property. And sell house. Okay. And just remember those things, when we start manifesting, we need to make sure we're going to do inspired actions to do those things. So start considering small things that you could do that will lead you towards that, right? Just kind of as a support. If you have anything you're wanting to manifest and work towards, let me know and I'll write it down on this. Knowing. Got you. Knowing her memory will live on just the same. Feeling better. Confidence to take the leap. Girl, yes, ma'am. The trip. I'm excited for that trip for you. Turning art to product. I like that one. Art to product. I like that. Is there anything else that I can write down on here to support any of you guys on things that you're wanting? Connection with spirit. Oh, I love it, Enigma. So excited for you guys. Third eye. If there's anything else, let me know. I'm going to do a couple more. And then I'm going to tell you about a project that I'm going to work on through the end of the month that you guys can be a part of. I know, I'm excited very much for Enigma. Okay. If there's anything else that comes up, let me know. Okay, so I am going to do a video this month. It's not a huge deal at all. But for me, this month is about, hey, Jody, This month is about celebrating, for me, my brother, right? If you have someone that you're wanting to celebrate, I'm going to make a video with some pictures of my brother. I would love to have a bunch of pictures of any of you all's loved ones if you want to include it. You do not have to put your name with the picture. You can just send it to me. I would love to have the community be a part of that, and I'll post it on TikTok, and you guys can have that as well. I'll have some music with it, and it'll just be flashing through several different pictures. And if it's too long for TikTok, then I'll put it on YouTube and I'll send it out to you guys. I think that when we do things as a community, that it binds us in knowing that we're not alone. Right? We're not alone, because when you see all of our loved ones and the people that we lost all in one screen flipping through, these are people's loved ones. These are people that have a story. These are people that matter. These are people that loved us. These are people that mattered so much that they left a hole in our soul. Right? So I would love for you guys to send me some pictures. You guys, if you are not one that follows me, you can send them to craftbykittilyn@gmail.com. If you do follow me, you know I'm easy to get in touch with. Just send them to me. I would like to have this done before the end of the month, so I will post something in Blend Your Spirit about it. I may talk in between sometimes. I want it to be a project that so many people can be included in, because I think it's important for us to understand that we're not alone. And when we see people that everybody loved, I think it's powerful. So I may do it a couple songs length depending on how many pictures I get, but it can be an animal. It can be someone that you lost, right? It can be an animal. It can be someone that you lost. It doesn't matter if it's a sibling, if it's a brother, a mom, dad, a child, anything like that. So I would love to include you guys in that. If that is something that you want to be included in, I will post more information over in Blend Your Spirit. And then I will get that created probably over the next couple of weeks. I will give everybody about till the end of the month to do it, because I want to get it out by the end of the month, since this is the month we're celebrating. So I would love for you guys to be a part of that. Just send me the pictures. You don't have to necessarily even say the name. You need to make sure and let me know that you want them included. Okay. And I think it'll just be a beautiful thing. And then you guys can all have them, and your loved ones' pictures will be in it, and there'll be songs, and there'll be different things being said, but just as a memory for you, right? When you get sad, that there's so many other people that are right there on the other side with them, and that you're not alone, right? It's a great little memory. So I hope you guys have an amazing night. I am going to eat dinner and then do my new moon stuff, right? Consider what you want to let go of. Let go of the heavy energy if you can. It's going to always come back. Don't worry. Let go while you can for a moment. Think about things that you want to manifest. What do you want out of your life? It could be something small. It could be something way huge. But at least put it out there, okay? I hope you guys have a beautiful night. I appreciate you so much. And we'll talk very soon. Hey, Mike. Bye, guys.